Thank you for joining the JAF on Tech podcast series. And this is where we talk about technology, artificial intelligence, policy, and the implications of the ever-changing world of information security. If you can leave a comment, a like, or subscribe, it would mean the world to us, especially the humans.
Okay, so picture this: someone's trying to steal your identity, but instead of digging through your trash for a bank statement, they're staring at a jigsaw puzzle. And not just any puzzle, one where the picture's totally scrambled, like thousands of pieces missing. That's kind of what strong data encryption does, right? Turns sensitive info into a code so complex, only the right key can unlock it.
Exactly. It's like scrambling a message, so only the person you give the secret code to can unscramble it.
We're going deep on data encryption today. We'll figure out just how it keeps your data safe in this crazy digital world we live in.
It's not just about what encryption is, right? It's about why it actually matters to you.
Totally. So let's start with data at rest. What does that even mean? Is it like data taking a vacation, relaxing on a beach somewhere?
Well, not exactly. Think of it more like files just hanging out on your computer or info sitting in a company's database. It's not being moved around or accessed. It's at rest.
Makes sense. So why is this resting data such a big deal when we're talking about encryption?
Because it's a prime target for hackers. Imagine someone breaks into a house. Are they going to go for the safe or try and grab something out of your pocket while you're on the street? Data at rest is like that safe, valuable stuff hackers really want.
Okay, that makes sense. So how do we make that safe? Well, safe.
Think Fort Knox level security. That's where something called AES 256 comes in. It's like the gold standard of encryption.
AES 256. Break that down for me.
Sure. So AES stands for Advanced Encryption Standard, and that 256, that's the key size, 256 bits to be exact. Each bit can either be a 0 or a 1, right? With 256 of those, the number of combos is, well, it's mind-blowing.
Mind-blowing how? Give me some context.
We're talking a number bigger than the estimated number of atoms in the observable universe. Even if you had like the most powerful computer imaginable, trying to crack that through brute force would literally take longer than the universe has existed.
Okay, that sounds pretty darn secure. Are there like actual tools people use for this AES 256 encryption?
Oh, absolutely. Our source mentions OpenSSL and Microsoft's .NET cryptography classes. Think of it like choosing a company that makes high security locks. You want something trustworthy and built to last, right?
Right, so you've got this Fort Knox level encryption, but what about the keys?
That's where key management comes in. And it's crucial, seriously. Even with the strongest encryption, if the keys are easy to get, it's like leaving the front door wide open. Our source really emphasizes this. Don't just store keys in plain sight within your application code, or even worse, on the same system as the data.
Yeah, that's like hiding your house key under the welcome mat. Not very secure. So where do you store these keys safely, in the digital world?
Think of it like a high-tech vault. That's where hardware security modules, or HSMs, come in. These are physical devices, real-world stuff, that are built to protect cryptographic keys.
So they're like the ultimate key guardians.
Exactly. They keep those keys completely separate from the encrypted data and manage the whole encryption and decryption process in a super secure way.
So with HSMs, you're not just protecting the data, but you're also protecting the keys that unlock that data.
Smart. But encryption's not the be-all and end-all, is it? There's got to be more to this security puzzle. So we've got our Fort Knox encryption, we've got our high-tech key vault. We're good, right? We can clock out early.
Well, you're on the right track. But it's kind of like this: you wouldn't just put a super strong lock on your front door and call your house secure, would you?
Okay, I see what you mean. So more layers. Like an alarm system, maybe. We're building a digital fortress here.
Exactly. It's all about what our source calls defense in depth. Basically, you want multiple layers of security, not just one. Okay, love it. Defense in depth. Let's break down these layers. And our source mentions a few key ones. What about starting with, access controls? Is that where we bring in like the velvet ropes and the digital bouncer who decides who gets in and who doesn't?
Yeah, pretty much. Access controls are basically like a VIP list for your data.
Yeah.
They decide who can see what and what they can actually do with it.
Got it. So kind of like different levels of clearance, just like in those spy movies. Someone in marketing might be able to see customer data, but not like financial records.
Right, exactly. That's what they call role-based access control, basically. You get access based on what your role is, what your responsibilities are in the organization. Makes sense.
Yeah, totally. Smart system. Okay, so what's the next layer?
So on top of those access controls, you've got multi-factor authentication.
Multi-factor authentication. Okay, I feel like I've heard of that. What is that? Like a secret handshake on top of your password?
Uh-huh, kind of. You got it.
Hmm.
It's all about proving who you are in multiple ways.
Yeah.
Like, you might know the password, right? But you also need something you have, like your phone to get a code, and something you are, like your fingerprint.
So even if some cyber criminal swiped my password, they're not getting past that second layer unless they stole my thumb too.
Exactly. It makes it way harder for anyone to get in, even if they manage to compromise one of your security measures. But even with all of that, we're not quite done yet.
Wait, really? We've got the fortress walls, we've got the bouncers, the secret handshakes. There's more.
Our source is pretty clear about this one. Continuous monitoring and auditing are super important too.
Hold on. So now we need security cameras too.
Think of it that way, yeah. It's not enough to just set these things up and forget about them. You've got to actually make sure they're working the way they should be, that no one's trying to, sneak in the back way.
Okay, so continuous monitoring is like having those cameras up, making sure nothing shady is happening.
Yeah.
Gotcha. What about auditing then? Is that like reviewing the security footage if something does happen?
Yeah, exactly. Auditing helps you figure out exactly what went down. If there is a security breach, God forbid, like it's looking back at the logs, seeing how the breach happened, what data they got to, all of that.
Man, this is starting to sound pretty complex. I mean, why should I, someone who's not exactly a tech expert or anything, even care about these super technical details? I get it. I mean, it's easy to feel kind of overwhelmed with all this, especially if you don't live and breathe tech. So what's the key takeaway here for the average person?
It really boils down to this. You don't have to be a cybersecurity whiz, but just knowing the basics can make a huge difference.
So it's about like taking charge, right?
Yeah.
Not just assuming our data is safe.
Exactly. You've got to be proactive. Think about all the places your info is, right? Your doctor's office, your bank, all those online stores you use. If you get these basics, encryption, access controls, all that, you can actually ask the right questions. You can push for better security from those guys.
It's like, I might not know how to build a fortress, but I can at least ask if they've got like strong walls and someone watching the gate.
Exactly. Knowledge is power, right? Knowing this stuff gives you a way to understand how protected your data really is.
Awesome. Well, as we wrap up our deep dive here on data encryption, what's the one thing you really want listeners to walk away with?
This stuff matters for everyone. It's not just for the tech giants, not just for the government, it's for you. If you get these concepts, if you ask questions, if you demand better, you can navigate this whole digital world a lot more safely. And you can protect your info.
Love it. A little knowledge goes a long way, right? Thanks for joining us for this deep dive on data encryption. We hope you feel a little more informed, a little more empowered to really take control of your digital security. Until next time.